I said to the coach, Cody really wants to play against his former team. Was I accurate?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously if this is week one, it's a little bit of a different story with so much build up in the off season, but you know, we're 7 games in and you know, I'm just excited to be the starting quarterback for this team. I look forward to every game, but I know a lot of guys on that team and a lot of brothers that I've shared a lot of battlefields with, and it'll be exciting to see them out there and to compete against them.
It says you're listed as a game time decision, so what does that mean in your mind? What percentage are you at, and how likely are you to play?
Yeah, there's protocols in place that I have to complete to prove to not only myself but the doctors, the coaches. So there's still a lot of things that will be taking place on game day, and that's what makes it a true game time decision. Obviously, yesterday I wanted to be out there and practice, show the coaches that I'm able to throw, move around with my shoulder pads on. But there's still a couple hurdles that I have to overcome because there's a lot of football games, right? And it's not like we're playing the Grey Cup tomorrow. So there's a lot of steps in place and a lot of opinions and a lot of other people that are helping make this decision. Everybody knows that if it was up to me, it wouldn't be a game time decision. I would be out there playing. But there's a lot of steps that go in, and I don't want to put a number on anything, but just know that there's a protocol in place, and I still got to pass a couple hurdles.
It's a your non-throwing shoulder injury. How did you feel when you practiced this week? I mean, obviously you didn't get hit. Is that the biggest hurdle, knowing that you'll be able to survive any contact?
Absolutely, yeah. I think the encouraging thing is I was able to finish the Hamilton game. I think it happened in the third quarter, so I was able to finish the game. But that's the risk and the benefits, right? Is understanding where we're at. You can't simulate a game. You can't simulate the contact in practice. And so, giving myself a couple days extra. There's no need to do it yesterday in practice when we knew we had 2 more days till the game. So there will be some protocols that take place tomorrow, I think, and that's going to be a little bit more on the contact end to make sure that things will hold up. And if everything goes according to plan, it'll be a green light for me, and I'll be out there with my guys.
The fact that it's your former team, the last team for which you played, would it be tough for you to sit this one out?
Oh, without a doubt. I think it would have been easy to fold it in after the injury and just, hey, I'm just going to take the week off. But I've done everything I've had to this week to make sure I give myself an opportunity to make a hard decision, whether to go or to not go, and that's through the protocols. But I've done everything in my power to go. Like I said, if this is week 1, it's a little bit different, but there's obviously a little bit of attachment to a team that I was with for 4 years and played a lot of football games for. But at this point in my career, I've played for 4 teams now. So if I started having an arrow on all these teams, that's pretty much every team in the league, and that's how the CFL goes. But because it's fresh and this is the most recent team, obviously there's a lot of build-up and a lot of hype that the media brings into it as well.
And it's also your former coach too, this former team. Is there some kind of thing you said with Jason before the game to maybe, I don't know, something extra?
No, I think, obviously in the offseason when Coach Maas wanted me to come here, we just kind of shared everything that went on last year, and we were excited to be able to work with each other. I'll keep saying it, if it's a week 1 game, there's so much more build-up through an off-season as opposed to when you're already in the season. It's kind of just, you look at it as another week and an opportunity to play against guys that I've shared a lot of a lot of good football and a lot of winning games. So that's what's most exciting, just to see guys I've competed against in practice. I will tell you this: they know me, and I know them, and that's what's also exciting. It's going to be an interesting chess match between the 2 sides because we know each other fairly well.
Do you think they would target your shoulder at all? They had a lot of sacks last week.
They have a really good front 7 and a really good defense that, in my opinion, has been playing top football in their last couple of weeks. I think they've only led 2 touchdowns in the last I don't know how many possessions. So they're playing at a high level, and it's a very physical sport. I know a lot of guys in that locker room, and there's a lot of good human beings in that locker room, and it's just the nature of football where you get hit and things happen. So I trust that those guys are going to go out and give me everything that they got, just like I'm going to go out there if I get the green light and go out there and give them everything I can, because we're all competitors at the end of the day, and we want this win because it's a significant role in the standings, this win here for both sides.
Thank you, Cody. Good luck.
Thank you. Merci, Cody.
So your thoughts on Cody tomorrow? Are you still optimistic?
Yeah, I am. You know, he went out this week and did the things in practice we wanted him to do. It's just a matter of how he feels tomorrow, you know, on game day, warming up and going from there. So, you know, it's something we expect him to play, but at the end of the day, we just got to make sure that he's fully capable tomorrow and then decide from there.
And how would you decide, because this is an injury to his non-throwing shoulder,
Yeah,
and it's about, you know, also being able, you know, to resist the contact, to tackle. You know?
Yeah, it'll be, in my opinion, his comfort level during warm-up and during the game day. You know, obviously with adrenaline pumping a little bit more and a couple extra days of rest because he didn't do a whole lot yesterday. So if he feels to the point where we feel he's ready and prepared and able to play to that health-wise that we need him to be, then we'll make our decision at that point. But I want to give it to the last minute before we decide, and that's what we're able to do, so we're going to do that.
I know you were asked, we were asked you earlier in the week about facing your former team, but just to refresh my memory, what are your thoughts about that?
No, I mean, I think I just overheard Cody talk about it. I mean, again, if this was the first year and there was a whole offseason of build-up, and it was in Saskatchewan, it may be a little bit different feeling, but it's not. I mean, we're 8 games in, they're 9 games into their season, or the 9th and 8th game respectively. You know, we've all moved on. I mean, I think there's good feelings in their locker room, great feelings in our locker room, all those things about our teams. And so my focus is on us solely and not about the other opponent. Now, again, I've got great familiarity with those guys and been in the locker room with them and, you know, shared some great memories. So I have no animosity. I'm not holding a grudge. I'm not holding anything. I just want to win every week, but it's no different for me this week and for our team. And so I'm focused more on ourselves and trying to do what's best to help us win.
And of course, you don't have Stanback and you don't have Sewell.
Yeah,
thoughts about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like what we had said with Cody. We were, you know, felt we knew all 3 of them were, you know, questionable kind of in our minds. And Stan didn't respond yesterday at all, you know, and felt stuff. So did Mondo. You know, so we're just doing the safe, precautious thing with them and holding them out so they hopefully are better the following week. And it's a long season. And we've talked about using everybody on our roster and how much better we'll be with our depth. And so, guys, we don't want, not to say don't want to be tough, because during the games I want them to be as tough as possible and make it through every game. But during the week, if they feel something and they're not quite at 100%, I'd rather have the guys behind them play, which we have confidence in.
And what led to the decision to start Lyndon Rice instead of McCloster? I mean, the Riders have a good front. Lanier got 3 sacks last week, and he's probably going to line up in front of Rice.
Well, I mean, they line up their guys wherever they line them up, but I mean, Landon's a starter for us, and he's a good player, and he's played a lot of football. He's experienced, and he was dealing with some things, and he's healthier now and feels much better. So naturally, we're going to put the starter back in, and you know, at the end of the day. Again, it goes back to early in the season, it wasn't all on one guy, so I know what you're alluding to, but for us, that's not the case, and we have ultimate confidence that Landon can go in there and do his job, and fully expect that to happen.
I wasn't alluding to
Thank you, Jason.
No problem.
If I may, it's not a conference rival you're facing this week. Does that put any weight into the decision of starting players or not, since it's...
No, I think you know, every game is important. You know, obviously we know East Coast games against Eastern opponents are 4-point games because you're getting to, they can't get to kind of thing. But each win's important. I mean, at the end of the year, you know, you need so many. You need them to add up to a certain amount to get into the playoffs, and each one counts. So that factored nothing into our decision of whether we're playing a guy or not. It's solely based on health and how they feel. And like I said, we're coming off a short week. You know, our guys didn't physically get. If this was a longer week, some of those guys probably would play. But with it being a short week, it's very difficult to have them practice or have them be ready. So there's a reason we have the guys in what we call the hangar, waiting in the wings for the opportunity, and we have utmost confidence in those guys.